Easily one of the most controversial games of 2023 when it first came out back in January was Forspoken. It felt like the entire internet was ripping apart the cringy dialogue, the bland open world, and even how weird the graphics were for a PlayStation 5 exclusive. But now we have an official statement directly from Square Enix. They have admitted the game flopped. In fact, it sold so bad, they're liquidating the studio that made it so they can never replicate this mistake. But today, I want to talk about this because honestly, not only is Forspoken terrible, but it does feel like Square Enix has a unique problem. They keep making flops every single year, and I'm kind of curious as to why. Let's talk about that. What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. So we're over here on the videogamechronicle.com and it says, Square Enix's Forspoken launch sales were lackluster. Now, it's funny because they're trying to very much blame this on reviewers. It had challenging reviews, says the Square Enix president. Now, the game did come out with a 64 on Metacritic. God, it actually has a 63 on Metacritic on PC. Absolutely insane. This game came out on January 24th. Now, it's insane to think about the fact that this game was probably so expensive to make and really redeemed none of those dollar signs. But what else is weird to me is that as soon as this news came out, we already have these strange Forspoken defenders. Oh man, it's weird that people are talking about Forspoken like it's one of the worst games ever made when it was simply just okay with genuine flashes of greatness. Chris, no hate to you. What are you smoking? I beat Forspoken. I did a lot of grinding in that game. I did all the chapters. I did a lot of side quests. I did a lot of side dungeons. I can speak from experience when I say that Forspoken is a big giant dud. In fact, what's funny is that I feel like Forspoken didn't even hype itself up. I mean, I have a very good friend who likes to borrow my games a lot. Whenever a new thing comes out, I'll beat it, I'll love it, and then he'll come over and borrow it and beat it, and we'll talk about it. You know, it's a fun tradition. I offered him Forspoken. I was like, all right, I'm done with it. You want to pick this up, Nick? And he went, no, I'm good. This game doesn't even look fun. In fact, what's kind of insane, they are now finding boxes of unsold copies of Forspoken in landfills. This is some record-breaking levels of flop. And I'll be honest, I am surprised about this because this game just had so much freaking marketing, so much conversation that it's crazy that it managed to only sell like 7 copies from a gas station. The game was also the game received some positive feedback on its action features, including its parkour and combat abilities, so it's yielded results that will lead to improvements of our development capabilities on other games. Okay, look, Square Enix, I'm not going to tell you how to do your job. I hope you did not learn any lessons from this. In that, I hope you don't take any of these components and try and put them into other games. I did enjoy this game a bit. When I reviewed it, I gave it a 6 out of 10. But I really hope that this specific DNA does not track over into any of your other major AAA games. They did admit what's kind of interesting, that apparently February and March games are also slightly affected, so they think that this will actually lead to a downside risk of 2023 earnings. What's actually crazy about this, though, is that apparently Forspoken did so badly, they are merging Luminous Productions, the studio that made this, into Square Enix. That basically means everybody is just being fired. Not directly, they're still being employed at Square Enix, but it sounds like they're just going to merge them into the big blob of Square Enix headquarters, making them coders, bug testers, stuff like that back on the mainframe instead of letting them have that creative control that created this monstrosity. It's very weird they're still even finishing the Forspoken DLC, to be honest, but I guess the extra weird part of this to me is the fact that, honestly, I cannot believe that Square Enix just keeps making games that flop. You can even pull up like big sheets of everything they do. Every year they release like 2 separate flops. I Am Setsuna underperformed. Lost Sphere did not do as much as they like. The Quiet Man, obviously considered to be one of the worst games ever made. Left Alive, often considered to be one of the worst games ever made. And of course there's games like Babylon's Fall, which are just so terrible and so expensive. It's insane to me that somehow they just keep putting out so many games hoping that one makes $1 billion, and then if a bunch flop, it still comes out as a net positive. Like, it is a bit weird that it's currently March 10th as I record this video, and Square Enix has released so many games. Just this year, they've released Forspoken, Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, they've released Octopath Traveler 2, they've done a massive patch for Final Fantasy XIV. It's crazy how big that studio is, how big they are as a publisher, but also how much content they're putting out. It really feels like that if somehow, God forbid, Final Fantasy 16 flops, I think it would just crush the studio. Now, I want to make it clear, I don't think it will. I think Final Fantasy 16 is going to be a huge success, but it is weird to me that they just keep stepping in bear traps over and over and over again. When asked directly what they want to try and do to get their money back, this is legitimately what they said. Somebody asked them and said, hey, okay, Final Fantasy 16 is going to be a huge seller. That's great. What are you going to do to make money in 2024? He literally said, 2024, we're going to focus on blockchain games. We hope that you will look forward to blockchain games. NFTs, they're actually going to try and sell us NFTs to stay profitable. I love Square Enix. I do genuinely think they make some of the best games. I'm a huge fan of it. In fact, every single night I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV because I think it's so fun to just goof off and shoot stuff as my archer that I'm leveling up right now. But it is bizarre that Square Enix just keeps churning out so much. My advice to you as a random game reviewer who plays so much of your stuff, whether it is, Final Fantasy Origins, there's so much that I've beaten from this company. I just think you got to slow down, you got to take your time, you got to use that deep breath to focus on making stuff great. Not just good, it needs to be spectacular. Because Forspoken, this is beneath you. This is not worth the amount of time and money and effort it probably took to create. This was a freaking Square Enix L, and it's weird that we have to put it on the giant pile of Square Enix L's. But what do you guys think about it? Have you played Forspoken? Do you like it? I'm actually most curious about that because let's face it, most of us despise it. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.